My name is Dan Couvrette. I'm the CEO and publisher of Divorce Magazine and Divorce Moms, and a facilitator for the Divorce School. Today I will be speaking with Vera Bergermann of Bergermann Law Firm, which is located in Florida. And Vera has been practicing family law for more than 35 years, been a family law mediator for more than 20 years. And she is also a qualified parenting coordinator. Today, Vera and I will be discussing the benefits of working with a parenting coordinator, how they can help your family during a difficult divorce, and at the same time, how they can help look after the best interests of your children. So, Vera, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for allowing me to be of service to you.
So we'll start with, let me know or tell us, what is a parenting coordinator and how will hiring one benefit somebody who's going through a divorce?
A parenting coordinator is a professional who is either a mediator, an attorney, or a mental health professional who has received special training. And by special training, I mean there is a 3-day course that parenting coordinators all have to take and pass in Florida. And only people with certain credentials can even take that course. And the goal is to train people to assist parents who are very much at odds with one another and not parenting effectively. So the goal of using a parenting coordinator is to help parents parent more cooperatively and efficiently for the best interests of their children.
So what should be the first goal, I guess, for a parenting coordinator for his or her client? What's the steps of it? What's the first stage?
The very first goal of a parenting coordinator is to allow the parents to communicate more effectively. That is the number one problem with parents who are parenting so ineffectively that they need a parenting coordinator. It's communication, as with so many things in life. So the parenting coordinator will set up methods of communication between the parents so that they will be actually exchanging information about their child in a non-confrontational way. And I can give you an example of how that can be done.
Please do.
Well, a parenting coordinator could start with a template, and that template would be a form that the parents would use, and they would fill in this form and communicate the form from the parent who is in residence with the child, for example, on a Tuesday night between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. And then the other parent would have a response period of between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. in which to address any concerns that were raised in the template or respond to anything within the template. And examples of things that would be in that template would be if the child has had a medical appointment that week or had a new medical appointment scheduled. If the child has become ill, what kind of medication the child has been prescribed. What if the child has received a particularly good or bad grade that week on an assignment or through a grade report. What extracurricular activities were scheduled for the child that week. These are examples of what would be contained within this template.
And what type of families would best benefit from using a parenting coordinator?
The parents who cannot communicate with one another, and as a result, they are finding that they don't know when a child has medical appointments scheduled and they're missing them. And then they find out afterwards that the child has gone and they're upset that they weren't there to speak with the doctor themselves or the dentist. Parents who learn about a child's bad grades long after the grades have come in and they haven't been allowed to participate in a parent-teacher conference. A parent who misses practices or games that their child is participating in. these people then find that they feel disenfranchised, and then they get angry with the other parent. And then the first parent may say, well, I tried to tell you, but they are so tuned away from one another that they can't even hear sometimes when someone is trying to give them a message. And some people are so mired in bad decision making that they send messages with the child that they want the other parent to get, which is the first rule of what not to do.
So you mentioned about a 3-week training, I think, but is that what qualifies somebody to be a parenting coordinator, or are there other qualifications that they need as well?
Well, again, the person who is entitled to even go for the training would be someone who has already qualified as a family law mediator, which has its own set of qualifications and trainings. So that everyone who is a parenting coordinator is also a qualified, licensed family law mediator in Florida. So, and the people that make up that category are people who are mental health professionals, lawyers, retired judges, and financial professionals. It's more rare to find a financial professional who then goes and takes that extra step to become a parenting coordinator. It's more the lawyers, retired judges, and the mental health professionals, particularly the mental health professionals, are most numerous in the field of parenting coordination.
Are there similarities between a parenting coordinator and let's say, a marriage counselor?
Oh, yes. A marriage counselor's goal is to help people in their marriage relationship, strengthen their marriage relationship, and improve their relationship as spouses. The parenting coordinator works with the parents to improve their roles as parents, to improve their relationship of parenting their child or children together.
I'm assuming that parenting coordinators are only used when people are going through divorce. And how often are parenting coordinators used in situations where people are divorcing?
Well, they're not always used in just divorce, because the statistics show that so many people today have children out of wedlock, and they too are parents, even though they may not have a divorce that they're going through. So they too are candidates for parenting coordination. The judges can appoint a parenting coordinator for parents to use if the judge feels that a parenting coordinator would be in the child's best interests. The judge does have to make sure that the parents can pay for the parenting coordinator. But that was a rather significant change in the law in 2009, that people couldn't just say, well, I don't feel like using one. Well, not anymore. Not since 2009. A judge can say, no, you will do this. You can afford it, and you will, so that your child or children will not continue to suffer.
And this may or may not be the case. Perhaps you can tell me all across the U.S. You're in Florida, and that's the law there, but might it be different in other states?
It could be. In other states, there may not be a law which allows the judges to order the parents to use a parenting coordinator. However, it would be best if people knew more about parenting coordinators so that they wouldn't be forced into it by a judge, and they would have the knowledge and desire to go on their own after, they learn about it from their family law attorneys, and that they would say, yes, we need to do something about our parenting relationship, and therefore we should use this professional who can give us tools and techniques so that we can parent more effectively together.
What types of techniques to increase and improve the communication does the parenting coordinator use?
Well, aside from the templates, the parenting coordinator can listen to a problem that the parents are having and can make recommendations. And the parents could then follow those recommendations. An example could be regarding if let's say a parent says, oh, our child would like to learn the martial arts. In fact, our child would really like to be involved in karate. And the other parent might say, oh, I don't want our child involved in the martial arts. Well, that's a dispute, and if they both are not able to resolve this between themselves, and they agree that the child does want to be interested in that, one of the techniques would be that the parenting coordinator could say, well, parent who does not want the child involved, why don't you go and look at a class yourself at a local dojo and see for yourself what's going on, and then let's meet again in a week. So they meet again in a week, and the parent who has gone to observe the children who take lessons at a dojo could then say, well, you know, there was no safety issues. The kids seem to be having fun, but I don't know. I just don't like it. Well, that's really not a valid reason. I just don't like it. So then the parenting coordinator could, for example, say, well, you have no safety concerns. How about if you allow your child who is so interested in this, and you acknowledge that, to try it out for a month or two. And you can accompany your child to the practices as well, and maybe then you might feel more comfortable. How about giving it a try? That's my recommendation. So the parent probably doesn't want to look like they can't follow some good advice, and they will go along with it. And then hopefully the problem will iron itself out. And maybe the child turns out to not be so interested after all. But this give and take and recommendations and assuaging fears are the kinds of things that the parenting coordinator will do to make people more comfortable. And then, of course, the parent who suggested it is probably going to feel a little better because, like, okay, I'm not being ignored yet again.
And so does the parenting coordinator ever make decisions for the parents, or are they just facilitating decision making?
They can make decisions if the parents allow them to. In mediation, for example, a mediator is supposed to not make decisions, but rather help the parties to reach a resolution through their own decision making. An arbitrator, on the other hand, is someone who makes a decision much like a judge. You can also have a hybrid, and that hybrid can be used in parenting coordination as well. We call it need-art, and that is, if you can't help the parents reach a resolution, the parents can say, well, okay, you tell us, what would you do? That's the arbitration part, and the parenting coordinator could say, for example, in our martial arts example, I would allow the child to participate in the sport for a month, and we could regroup after that and see whether the child really does have interest and how the child is progressing and whether everyone's able to get the child to the activity on time and so forth. And let's give it a try. And then everyone agrees that, okay, the parenting coordinator has spoken and we will follow that decision. So yes, that can happen. A lot of times people are entrenched and they don't want to give up any rights. So the parenting coordinator has to be a very diplomatic person indeed.
I think you've answered the question I'm about to ask, but I'm going to give you another chance to provide perhaps more details. A couple is going through divorce, they're not getting along, they each have their own family law attorneys. You know, do they really feel the need to bring another professional in to help them with their challenges? What are the ultimate benefits of this, and how is it going to help the family?
The parenting coordinator certainly does not give legal advice. The parenting coordinator's job, even if that parenting coordinator is an attorney, is to, again, give the people the techniques to better parent together and to calm them down if they are angry, give them the tools to feel that they are playing a role in their child's life. They are not being disenfranchised. They are being listened to. And anytime that you can take the strife between the parents in how they parent their children out of it or minimize it, that is a good thing, because that is not the job of the attorneys. It's not the job of the judge either.
Vera, I want to thank you for your time today. And for those people who are listening, I really encourage you to go to Vera's website. It's bergermannlawfirm.com. That's BERGERMANN lawfirm.com. And I also recommend that you take a look at some of the other sessions that we have in the divorce school. Lots of great information to help you if you're contemplating divorce, going through divorce, or you're recently divorced. Thank you again for your time, Vera, and thank you folks for listening in and watching our video.
You are most welcome.